Hello, it's Ant and Deck here on a Thursday night. No, it's not. It's me. It's Jason Robinson, live from Chaturday Live here on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere else on social media. I'm joined by the one and only Mr. Ben Hale. Good evening.
Good evening, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking.
Good. So for those that are tuning in and watching, you'll know that we normally do our shows on Saturdays, but if you would have tuned in last week, you'll know that we're going to be doing midweek shows now so that we don't interrupt your partying and drinking nights out that lockdown is slowly easing over. And midweeks, we normally get you guys sitting there eating your dinner or just watching Emmerdale or something. So we're a little bit more interesting. So for those that have been following us on Chaturday Live, you know that we're here in support of mental health awareness. We offer entertainment for those guys sitting at home during lockdown. And for those suffering with mental health, we give you the option of watching something different than BBC News or something that's a little bit more depressing. So as you're aware, we're here with Mr. Ben Hale, personal trainer to the stars, i.e. me and everybody else. I'm a celebrity, so that counts. You're all right.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking sports, fitness, mental health, and everything in between. You guys know how it works. We interact with you live on social media. Flick on the comments. Say hello. Say hello, Ben, if you're coming from Ben's page. If you're coming from my page, tell me to go away, whatever you want to do. We're going to answer all sports questions, but at the same time, we're going to get to know Ben a little bit more as well. So for those that are regular followers to Chaturday Live, you'll know that Mr. Ben Hale has been on the show before. He was on back last year. We were talking, and he got me to do a 10-minute HIIT workout that I don't want to relive. I've deleted the video from my memory. Yeah, this is horrible. You know, I was in pain after that. But I'm guessing that's the purpose behind a HIIT workout. It's all about, in a short amount of time, getting the most exercise and, you know, the heart pumping, I guess, and the body working. So for those that didn't watch, Ben, what got you into personal training and fitness in the first place?
Well, if I'm honest with you, Jay, into fitness in the first place, I kind of left Manchester when I was a lot younger because, well, I was into all the partying and stuff like that, but to the extreme levels, you know, so I knew I had to make a change. So I left there, got a new group of friends, and just joined a gym. I moved up here. You know, there's nothing else going on. I joined a gym. Didn't really know what I was doing, but got myself fairly strong in that in a short period of time because it's all I wanted to do. And then from there, found boxing. And boxing really gave me some good discipline and set my life in a real good direction. And basically, over the years, I wanted to do that. I wanted to give that back to others. So the boxing coach at the local gym in Wigton here, Mr. Andy Crossman, gave me the opportunity to be a coach for the kids. So I would turn up for the kids, coach for them. Absolutely loved it. They looked up to us, and just stemmed from there. Really, I wanted to go full time, and that's what I loved. So that's what I do.
So you got into boxing. Did you ever compete then competitively at an amateur level or anything like that then?
Yeah, I've had 15 amateur bouts.
And what's your record?
9-6.
9-6?
Yeah.
Were the 6 bad?
No.
Is it just points or?
Yeah, just points. Amateur boxing, Jay, they're close fought contests. You're usually matched up with someone of a similar record, of similar caliber, and you go in the ring and it's an honest fight. It really is an honest fight. It's the closest thing you can get to an honest fight is amateur boxing. I was never put on the floor. I've had very hard fights, but I've given back. There's only one time I was put on the floor. That was sparring with my coach, Mr. Andy Crossman, body shot, and that was something else.
Is there yes or no? But is there anybody that you know in the boxing biz from when you were amateur who has now gone on to be professional?
Yeah, I boxed a lad down at Bolton who is now a professional.
Not Amir Khan.
No. He's a light heavyweight now, Mickey Ellison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So was that something that you ever thought of doing, going professional, or did you like it just at the amateur level as it was?
See, I had my first fight when I just turned 28. So if I could have gone back into years, as they say, you know, in a time machine, I would have definitely started from a young age, and I loved boxing, and I wasn't bad at it. I found out I could take a punch. I had that lion's heart, so I could fight and stay fighting. I wasn't bothered about getting punches, being punched. I was half good, half skilled. So if I could go back in time, I would definitely pursue that. But it got to the point where I was hitting 30, 31, and I was getting into a ring with a 20-year-old lad. And, you know, there's no disrespect to the lads, but I just felt kind of old in there. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So I turned my attention to triathlon, which is something else I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Because I found I was a good runner through boxing.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that because you see, like, professional boxers now on their social media, they're running and always running. What is the connection with running to boxing then? Other than obviously it's the cardio, but is there something why boxers do it, or is it just purely for the exercise?
For me, it was purely for the fitness. Now, 2 weeks before my first ever bout, Jay, I was the first senior lad to box for this town that we're in now. The first senior to ever represent a club in Wigton, a Wigton club. And 2 weeks before that opening debut, I sparred a lad, and first round was all right. Second round, I got a pasting. I couldn't keep my hands up. I was knackered. So I started running around the block here and running hard for 2 weeks solid. And just after a week of that hard running, I sparred the lad again. I was all over him, couldn't keep me off him. Just through the running. So for me, it's what it gives you.
So it is stamina. It gives you that repetition of constant moving.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we'll go into boxing a little bit later on. We'll talk about different fighters and your opinion on it. Although I did catch you out the other day on your Instagram live and you didn't even know there was a big fight coming up. And I think you actually did put Joseph Parker to win when we spoke. Did you watch the fight?
I did.
You did? Do you think it was Parker's? Honest?
Probably not. But if it was going on points, I know that Chisora is kind of over the hill.
Okay.
Eddie Hearn's going to be looking at.
Are they looking at the next fight rather than the fight?
Rather than the fight. You know how corrupt boxing is.
Yeah.
I don't think, unless he knocked him out, he really had a chance.
Okay. For those that are watching, I know you guys are watching. I can see it in the corner. Please get the comments in. Anything to do with sport, even like Icelandic hockey. We'll talk about it. We don't care. Just talk about sport. Fire the questions in. If you're coming over from Ben's page and you're tuning in and have no idea what's going on, please say hello. Let Ben know that you're here to support him. You're his followers as well as ours. So in the side of fitness, as we were talking, so you do focus on, you know, as they saw it, the cliche, the dad bod. You focus on dads staying in shape, getting in shape, and feeling mentally good about themselves. Is there like a go-to where people normally come to you and they have like aspirations and aims that they want to get to? They don't want to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but is it a case of we just like to be more active, or are they saying we want to do weights, cardio? What's the question that you're normally getting?
Usually, Jay, it's, for example, now with lockdown, you know, a lot of people aren't active like myself, and they maybe treated themselves that bit extra through lockdown. You know, they're not getting out on the, they're not getting out doing their activities they might have been then. Even if they was already a little bit overweight, they've maybe got more overweight. And you know, you do a lot of work for mental health. You know what not being comfortable in your own skin can do for your mental health. It can, you know, it can really play with you, and you're uncomfortable walking around looking like that. So these guys, they don't want to look fantastic, and that's not what I do. I know I look fantastic, but I'm only joking.
Do it.
Joking. I had to, but they're not on about my niche guys. They're not trying to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're trying to look like the best version of themselves and be the best version of themselves. You know, they want to up the fitness. They want to be able to run around with the kids. They want to be able to play football with the mates and be competitive. You know, think they want to do the first 10K race. They want to do the first half marathon. Things like that. That's the kind of the guys I'm dealing with.
Yeah. Would you say that, you know, what people are wanting to get to when it comes to exercise, like you say, it ranges. And like you say, with dads in general that you're working with, obviously they're coming to you. They want to be more active in sports and stuff like that. Is there like a general age that you're getting in as well? Is it like the midlife crisis, or could it be anybody from 21 all the way up to, you know, the 60s, 70s? Or are you getting a group of fellas that you say are wanting to change now while they can? Or are you getting a collective in general?
I never kind of thought of it that way before, Jay, but I would say
I did knock this one over.
No, Jay earlier kicks a coffee all over my new floor. I told him it was okay. Sorry. So usually it's over 35 onwards. Usually that's who comes to me, plus 35.
Yep.
You know, youngish dads, you know, 40s, 35s, usually 40s. That's the kind of age I often get.
Yeah.
About 50s, things like that.
So obviously you've got, I'd say you're a triple threat, but really you're like more than that, because obviously you're keen in running yourself. You like your boxing. You're heavily involved in boxing still, because obviously you have access to the boxing club, and you are still actively working with young boxers as well. Obviously you've got the weights behind you. You've got just behind the camera now, you've got obviously your bike, your training bike here is obviously the cycling. I know from previous experience that cycling and running are two different things, and they give you the total opposite effect. So when you're training for a triathlon, which one becomes more priority? Is it the running, the biking? Obviously, the swimming is whenever you can get into a pool with obviously lockdown. Because surely running and road running does a lot for your hips and your ankles and your joints, doesn't it? The constant pressure. Whereas on a bike, it's more like your back and the top of your legs, isn't it? I mean, you look at somebody like Chris Hoy. He wasn't born with those legs.
No.
So but Chris Hoy wouldn't go running with those legs. So there's a different output. So how do you work, you know, for triathlon training to keeping it quite in the middle?
Well, first of all, we are just amateur athletes, and we're doing it because we enjoy it. So the likes of Chris Hoy, he'll have nutritionists, he'll have a specialised a trainer assigned just to him, you know, because his team is it team. I don't know.
It was many years ago, like Bradley Wiggins would have done like road racing and track and stuff like that. But yeah, he was Team Sky and GB. Yeah.
But triathlons in general, they're usually around 60% the bike. So that is where you can make up the most ground, is on the bike. So, you know, you should refer that in your training. Most of the running is done off the bike in triathlons. So if you're having a hard day, if you've got a hard day on the bike, make sure you get a little run off there. Try and get them weekly running miles up through little tricks like that. So you just straight off the bike, straight into a run, instead of it being two different workouts. Like you say, the swimming, usually have set days, because you know when you can get into the pool and what session is on that day. We're lucky where we live here in Cumbria, Jay. If it's nice weather,
a lake.
We've got a lake. We've got a
lake. Got a pond.
We've got ponds. We've got lakes. We've got all that. So yeah, the bike does tend to take priority for triathletes. But on the other side of it as well, like I said earlier, we are amateur athletes, and there's 3 disciplines in there: swimming, biking, running. Most triathletes tend to do more of the one they enjoy, you'll find.
Okay.
Or they're good at.
Yeah. So you say that you're amateur then, but I mean, you've still got to follow the same routine. I mean, is it the Browning brothers? They're triathletes, aren't they? Is that right? Yeah. So again, they look totally different to a runner and to a cyclist. Obviously, they've got that in between body shape, which is obviously good for everything. If somebody was sitting on their couch now, we'll pretend it's me. We won't say that it is me, but we'll pretend it's me sitting on their couch now, and they want to get back into a physical sport or exercise. Where would you say to somebody to start off with, to say, look, if you're going to get into any exercise, this is where I recommend you start before you go into anything else?
Like, so beginner,
absolute beginner right now, sitting on the couch.
Diet.
Okay.
Diet straight away. First thing, diet.
No digestives?
Well, it depends how hard you've trained, Jake. I can have a digestive. Oh, okay. That's fine.
I can have a pack.
You got to look at your diet, and don't think you have to go out there and totally create a new diet straight away. It's about small changes and habits. You know, we talk about habits. It's mental health again. It's picking up these positive habits every day of just, you know, drinking more water, getting some veggies into your meal, eating the apple a day, things like that. And you'd be amazed, Jay, what picking up one good habit can lead to another good habit and stuff like that. So with the diet, I would definitely tell them to start with the diet. Start walking. You know, people feel daft going out for runs, so go out for a walk. And before you know it, you've gone out for a walk for a few days. You're going to have a little jog on that walk. I guarantee it. When there's nobody around and there's no cars there, you'll go for a little jog, and then you can stop again, and then that won't get too bad. You'll repeat that. So just start very basic and just work your way up until you're comfortable. And yeah.
When you say like diet, does it really actually start with like portion control as well? Because I guess we, on our evening meals, we sometimes overindulge on that plate size. So it's not necessarily having to change the meal you eat, it's maybe the size to start off with. You know, you may go, oh, I eat healthily. I have chicken and I have rice and I have my vegetables. I said, yeah, but if you're having like 2 or 3 chicken breasts with loads of pasta and loads of carbs and everything like that, it sounds healthy, but you're eating quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, there's foods that we shouldn't be eating, like, white bread, things like that. You can avoid that. You can change it up for wholemeal bread, things like that. Cut your portions down. But yeah, portion control is definitely a major issue, as you say. I am guilty of that one. I am. I like a good scran. I do. But yeah, so portion control is a great way to start, and it also again triggers that mindset of you thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? And you're implementing it. So yeah, absolutely, portion control is.
Well, as I've said to you before, I've just recently started a new career venture, which means I'm now going to be doing more physical work, which is fine. I'm happy with it. You know, I come home and, I feel good. Yeah. But at the same time, I feel a little bit sore in places because I've done workouts that I've not normally done. I've gone from working in offices and sitting in front of computers and sitting in a very unnatural position behind a keyboard to now being outside in the fresh air, doing a lot of moving, picking up, moving sideways and stuff like that. So that's exercise and I feel good for it. But obviously, once I've sat down when I got home, I'm then feeling it. So the same as exercise. So could you give anybody that's got maybe a strenuous or physical job that's not necessarily looking at the exercise because they feel like they do enough, but is there a warm down procedure for somebody that's just had a strenuous day at work or something that you can recommend? Is it like the old Radox in the bath, or are you saying like maybe get on the old floor and have a stretch when you get home from work before tea?
I've never done this, Jay. I'll be absolutely honest with you. But if someone's like that and they don't want to do any more exercise because they think they're getting enough at work, I would try yoga.
Yeah,
because it's controlled stretching. It's easy. Well,
okay.
No, it's probably not easy.
Don't say that.
It's probably not easy. No, but do you know what I mean? You start as a beginner, then you work your way in. It's not strenuous, I imagine. but
if there's anybody that does yoga, please put Ben in his place, or agree. Either way,
I'm attacking yoga. I'm not trying to. But yeah, I would try something like that instead of just coming home and stretching stretches that you don't know. Start with a YouTube video of someone who knows what they're doing because the yoga, the professionals, they know what they're doing. Follow those, but an easier one, and that'll maybe open up some joints, make you a bit looser. If you do stretch as well, hold your stretch for 30 seconds. If you hold the stretch for 30 seconds, it'll lengthen the muscle and you'll get more flexible over time. That's guaranteed, and that will enable you more movement around your joints and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a question then. I've never been able to touch my toes with straight legs. I've just never been able to do it. Would that same practice there, bending over to try and touch your toes and holding a position and so on and so on, over a period of time, I would get closer to my toes in theory?
Can we do a little exercise now?
No, not really, Ben, but yes, go on if need be. Go on.
Can you just...
I don't like this. Go on.
Can you just stand up?
I'm going to stand up here. You see what you've done to me? Look, I've deliberately wore clothes not to do a workout. Go on, I'm standing here, Ben.
So all we're going to do is what you just said. All right. So let's put your feet together.
All right, I'm putting the mic down. Ben's in charge. Go.
Let's put your feet together. All right, Jay. Now keep the legs straight. And I want you to reach down for your toes. When you get to a bind point or when it gets tight, just stay there and hold it. All right. So away you go. So put your hands against your legs. That's it. Just keep there. That's fine. Just keep there, Jay. And what we're going to do in about 10 seconds, Jay, I'm going to ask you to reach a little bit deeper, all right? And your muscle will have relaxed kind of now, and it will allow you to go that extra bit deeper, okay? And when you get there, that is going to hurt, and that's when you're going to hold it, all right? So 3, 2, 1. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, you feeling that?
Oh, yeah, really.
Okay, so we'll give it another 10. 3, 2, 1, and relax. Yeah, that's
simple little things like that. So we're talking about obviously the body. Obviously, we've got the thighs, the calves, and obviously the knees, the ankle, and stuff like that. So I'm feeling it in my calves, obviously, which is I don't know if that's where I should be feeling it. Obviously, is that the muscle that I'm stretching the most? Obviously, trying to go
that was
here.
Your hamstrings. So
hamstrings, sorry,
yeah. Down the back of your...
Yeah, hamstrings down here, and then obviously your calves down here, and obviously whatnot. So while I'm thinking of it, can you please, for those that may or may not know, what's the difference between fast and slow twitch muscles then?
All right.
Because that's the question. Because obviously, depending on your muscle group, depends on what kind of. That's the difference between being Mo Farah and Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt's got fast twitch. No, is that not right?
Fast twitch is you sort of, it's your sprinting. Yeah, so it's your sprinting. You're boxing. You're throwing punches. Things like explosive movements. Right, and you were right, to be fair. Your slow twitch is your slower running, things like that. Maybe your weightlifting, because unless you're doing HIIT classes, maybe you're weightlifting, so you're taking your time, slow lift, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's and in between all that is good. Is where triathletes come in actually, because they do a bit of both. You see.
Okay.
Running, swimming, running, swimming, things like that. I'm not used to holding a microphone, Jay.
Go on.
I'll be like that in a minute. So yeah, so they're quite kind of in the middle because you use quite a bit of both. So yeah.
Right. So what time are we on? We're going to make sure that we don't hurt anybody. Right. So we're going to talk sports in general. So if you guys are into your sports and you'd like to ask questions, obviously to Ben or myself about sports, please do comment. Comment directly on the Chaturday Live post. So if you're watching the stream from Ben's page, do head straight over to Chaturday Live and then comment straight under there. We will see your comments. We will reply to them. We're going to talk sports and we're going to actually get into a heated debate in a minute, because anybody that's watching from Ben's page will already know that his dress sense is horrible because he wore a Manchester United shirt the other day on your Instagram Live. And I think you got a bit of stick from me and about 4 others on your shirt. But we'll talk sports in general. So would a football player, i.e. a striker, what would their exercise routine be? Because obviously they are required to have fast pace, I'm guessing. But obviously they're not working always on their legs. They're working on the overall. So would they be on the same sort of diet and exercise structure as a runner, or would there be a different exercise plan, for sports people, like you say, in hockey, football and stuff like that?
See, footballers, the sprinting, the twisting and turning. Now, if we're talking amateur footballers, they're probably not on good pitches as well. So, there's always that extra risk of injury. Runners just run. They go forwards. That's it. They follow a track. They go usually at the same pace as if they can to hold that for the whole race, unless they've got a structured race in place. But footballers, they've got to be fast. Like you say, they've got to be fast and they've got to be able to hold that on. So I imagine more sprint work and that kind of thing rather than the endurance of a runner. As well, they've got to be strong to hold off defenders, win headers, jump up, be aggressive, explosive. So they need all that in there as well. So I would say they've got a lot more physical than a runner would be in general.
So we're all aware of what I believe to be the perfect specimen of a football player. Maybe too much of an extreme, which is Cristiano Ronaldo, where he literally is
United player,
ex-United player. He saw sense and ran. But obviously his physique is probably to the extreme. He's literally gym, eat football, gym, eat football.
It's God's gift, isn't he?
He is something, and he backs it up.
Yeah.
But not all football players have that physique or that mentality. If you look at somebody, like you say, a United player, for instance, Bruno Fernandes and Paul Pogba, and obviously your United players, they won't all look as ripped as Ronaldo, but they've still got to have the same characteristics of the fast pace, the upper body strength to hold off players for defenders. You've got to be quick on your feet to be able to move in and around the box and be able to control with hand-eye coordination or foot-eye coordination as well. So when you do things like that, do you do footwork with your clients then in general, moving, if you've got people that are like, oh, I want to get into amateur football with me mates and stuff like that, do you work on stuff like that?
I've got to be honest with you, I've done pre-season training for footballers, but what I kind of did there was just worked on fitness, things like that. I'm not a football coach. I don't really know all the drills and stuff like that. If I was asked to, I would learn them and go forward there, but I would imagine they would have to do them drills, them short sprints, turns, dribbling around cones, you're working on that coordination, as you said. I think Cristiano Ronaldo lives it. He's 100% die hard, lives for fitness. He's a fanatic, and he's been doing it a lot of years as well. You know, he's a lot older than Bruno Fernandes and Pogba. He is a lot older, which makes him naturally, through years of training, have a better physique as well.
Is Ronaldo going in the same direction, if not already ahead of Zlatan Ibrahimovic? Do you see Ronaldo not leaving football for a very long time?
Yeah, I think they're very similar characters, aren't they? The way they look after themselves, their attitude, the mentality, the winners, aren't they? The winners, and they believe that they have got to be number one.
Yeah.
And that's what they have both got. And that's looking number one, being number one, mentally number one. They'll be in all aspects of their life. If them two have a game of chess, they're going to want to be number one.
Yeah. It's just, you wouldn't want to be on the other side of a table tennis table with them, will you? Because, like you say, everything. All right, well, we'll steer off football. We'll go into something that you do know, which is boxing. So when it comes to boxing, obviously that fitness side of things, the diet is obviously key as well. But obviously they're burning a lot of energy in a shorter amount of time than you would a long distance runner. So, and that's where you say like the fast twitch is going in, because it's constant moving. So if we was to pick a boxer at random where we could show, you know, okay, we know that Amir Khan in his heyday, which he's long past now, he was lightning quick.
He was lightning,
You know, you couldn't get a punch in with Amir Khan. So if you've got a young lad in the gym that you can see that potential, that he's got quick movement, how would you nurture that or teach around that?
Yeah, it's just that's natural talent, isn't it? So you would kind of work to his strengths, but you would also work on his defenses, because I do know young lads like that, and they just, you know, once they go and attack someone once in a ring, of course, they get a lot of success, and they think that success is just going to go and go and go, and you can't tell them. So sometimes they've just got to wait till they get to a level where they come up against someone as good or as fast as them, and then they maybe get a bit of a hiding kind of thing, and then they'll listen to you and work on defensives and stuff like that. So at that point, they can go from quick attack into defense, and then quick attack again. Do you know what I mean? So they're in and out boxing, nice and fast, not getting caught.
What's the big thing with skipping, with boxing then? Why do people choose skipping?
Skipping is excellent for, I mean, this isn't for boxing, but skipping is excellent for fat burning. Do you know that? I think it's like 300 calories in 15 minutes.
Okay.
From skipping. On my page, I did a video about what's best for weight loss. Is it skipping? Is it cardio, or is it resistance training? And skipping is what I found to be the best calorie burner in general from the exercises I found. But also, it's very good for the footwork. Now, boxing is all about footwork. If you can get in and out, you're laughing. You're in a good way. If you're slow on your feet, you're going to get caught. You're going to struggle to close your opponent down and land a punch yourself. But if you're quick on your feet, it makes all the difference. You can get around the ring. It's one on your foot. It's one on your feet. Do you know what I mean? So,
well, there's a boxing match coming up that's not been confirmed yet, but we're talking probably around about the 14th of August. You knew it was coming. And from watching boxing, you've got two different people. Tyson likes to dance around the ring and use his feet and literally just be the class clown in the gym and in the ring, and it works. And you've got Anthony Joshua, who is, I would say, he's getting better, but he was a lot slower on his feet, but could pack a punch that could, send you into next week. So they're two different types of boxers. Obviously, Joshua learned the hard way by getting put to the ground by Andy Ruiz. And now Joshua's got a lot faster on his feet. So in your opinion, how does a boxer win a match other than just punching the other person? Is it speed, or is it mind games? Because obviously you deal with the boxing as well. What if you're standing in someone's corner the week leading up to it? Obviously you're telling your boxer what he should be thinking and doing, but when he gets in the ring, is it a case of, is it the movement, or is it getting in, the blocking?
See, you've got to work on yourself. You've got to work on your game and not work on the opponent's game. Unless you're in the professional game, and you're going to have to do a bit of both. But you've got to go in amateur boxing. You don't know who you're going to come up against. So you've just got to be ready to be the best you can be. Have a quick look at them for 30 seconds and then implement your game. But as going into Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, I think that fight was confirmed today, was it?
It's
You
well,
seen an
I know
article?
that this. Well, I don't know if it's been 100% confirmed. I know that the dates were between the 7th and 14th, but the 7th interferes with the Olympics, so they've pushed it back a week
Right.
for the 14th, so they can get as much TV
Yeah.
coverage and try and rinse you from lots of money as well to watch it. So,
You know that Tyson Fury is going to get into his head.
yes,
That is how he was beat in New York. He did something called, I've read about it, called he bottled it. Now people say bottled it. I don't think they know what it is, but bottling it is actually a thing.
okay.
I've read a book. I think it was The Habits. It was a bit, something about habits, and it was really good. And basically, he bottled it. His body wouldn't do what he wanted it to do. He wouldn't do what he told it to do because his mind had switched off. I could easily see that happening again. If it doesn't, I can see Joshua unloads very nice combinations, and they will trouble Fury.
So, although we haven't seen, obviously, we see a lot more of Tyson on social media than Joshua. Joshua's very in the background and obviously just gets on with what he has to get on with. We know what kind of specimen he is, but with Fury, he likes to be out there. And I think that is part of the professional side of boxing. As you said, it's a bunch of thugs, isn't it, going at it, and they're waiting for the big money and stuff. It's
I didn't
not
say
real.
that.
I'm saying that. It's they're meant to be professionals, but really the reason why the contracts haven't been signed on this big match is all about money and who wants what and who wants. It's mind games.
Mind games.
And this is what you're saying. It's about Tyson getting inside his head, calling him like a bum. He calls everybody a bum, let's be honest. He calls everybody a bum.
Big dosser.
Big dosser. Me personally, I want to see Tyson do well, and I also want to see Joshua do well. So I want it to be a knockout finish in the later rounds, so we've got a good fight out of it, and they've both proven what they're worth.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about mind games, Fury's the only one that can walk in the ring and say, "Undefeated, mate."
Yeah.
You've got trouble. So we'll all be tuning into that. This Saturday night, we've got Buatsi, who's managed by Anthony Joshua, and he is currently 14-0. I'll do my research on boxing. I'll call you up later.
Do you like him?
I do like him. He's a very good boxer as well. And I think that he'll start following the same style as Joshua, which will be the power punches eventually, when he starts meeting his
Punches
matches.
in bunches.
Yeah. We'll go back onto the other side of what you do. So you don't obviously just deal with dads and dad bods. Obviously, you have other people. You do your online classes as well. So with lockdown and having to adapt and obviously rearrange and obviously have to suitably entertain and physically give physical instructions over the internet. How have you found that then? That's a new step for you, isn't it? And to be on social media.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. Do you know what, Jay? It's changed my life, literally. It has, and my confidence has gone through the ceiling with it. And let me say, right at this minute, this week, I'm hurting right now. I've had a tough week on them online classes.
Really?
A tough week, yeah. We've been going through it. We've upped it. But yeah, it's really good. Got a lovely community of people who stay with me every day. It's like the same faces every day. We wake up and we get on with it. So yeah, it's been amazing going online, and it's a total new life skill I've learned. And meeting people like yourself because of it it's all part of the privilege, Jay.
What time are you doing these workout classes in the morning?
Usually 7 a.m.
7 a.m.
Yeah.
You're human. How many times have you been laying in bed at 6:30?
Quite a couple.
How many times can I pull a sickie before they realise?
A couple. I've never pulled a sickie. If I've not done it in the morning, I do it at 5 p.m. at night. But I always put the recordings into the group within an hour of doing it. So there's actually people who've been in the group I've never seen on a live. They've done the followers. They've been with me for months and months and months. But they enjoy the workouts. They do them in their own time, things like that. So
not everybody. Some people may already be at work at 7 a.m.
I am an early person as well. I'm an early bird. I'm usually up at 5:30.
What time do you go to sleep?
10.
You tucked up at 10.
I usually go in bed for 10.
Yeah. So is that a big thing as well that you tell people as well? A good sleeping pattern as well.
7 hours. You want 7 hours sleep.
A good
for
7
recovery.
hours.
Yeah. If you're not sleeping, you're stressing your body. You're putting extra stress on your body. So I mean, if you're working hard, you need your recovery. A good sleep does that for you. Sorry.
You're right.
Yeah, you wake up feeling really good. I have a little morning ritual. I get up and I do a little bit of reading, a journal. I write down what I'm going to do for the day. You can see all my books over there. I do all that. And so a couple other things as well. I like to get that done. before I start my class. So I do all that, do my class. I've won the day in my eyes. The rest
Yeah.
is playtime.
Do you find that do you tell people to find like like a private space as well where you can get in the mind frame that you're doing a workout? Because some people could only use like their front rooms, their spare bedrooms and stuff like that. You're lucky enough that you've managed to convert obviously yourself into a studio now, which is perfect for your social media. I watch you on Instagram. I catch up with 10 with Ben. If you haven't seen it already, make sure you catch up with 10 with Ben. He loves a good bit of banter. And I don't think he'll be wearing that United shirt for a while either. I think you killed him. But like you say, your workouts aren't just for dads. So tell us about you. How can people find you and what can they expect from your page?
On my page, I do, like Jay says, I do 10 with Ben every day. That's a new thing. I have missed a couple of days recently. Apologies. That is going to be an everyday thing when I find the correct time, so people know when to come on if they have any questions. I do online classes. We work hard, usually around 30 to 35 minutes, trying to get that to 7 a.m. every morning soon. If it's not, it'll be 5 p.m. But we work right through the body through the week. We do like a HIIT kind of class on a Monday. We do upper body, lower body, full body, and finish the week with a HIIT as well. Get the weekend off, recover for the Monday. I do one-to-one training. You can find me on Ben Hale PT on Facebook, same on Instagram. And yeah.
And I'm going to try and convince him as well to get a YouTube channel as well.
I have got one.
There you go.
I'm not very good at YouTube. You have to school me.
I'm going to show him how to get this up because, as you're probably aware now, we're live on YouTube, on Facebook, and other social media networks. I'm going to teach Ben. So if we can get the YouTube up and work, and he can do his lives on YouTube, and you can watch them back on YouTube as well. So you haven't got to like scroll through social media to find Ben. You can go straight directly to subscribe to his YouTube channel, and you know when they're there. We'll get that sorted.
Perfect.
We'll get that sorted. So make sure you check out Ben Hale PT on Facebook, on Instagram. He's there giving you positive, reinforcing messages to let you know that, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, we're all in it together. You can do it. And that's the kind of positive attitude you want. You don't want somebody like Mrs. Trunchbull, like screaming at you saying that, good, you're worthless, you shouldn't eat chocolate. Ben's very positive, and that's why I've stuck around and made sure I've stayed connected with Ben, because if you want anything personal training, fitness-wise, any questions that you need, Ben always has the time to answer your questions, regardless who you are, where you're from, whether you're a newbie or you've been with him for years, he always has the time, and that's obviously a credit to his business and his personality. So thank you very much for that, Ben. But we can't always end on a high with PT. I'm going to have to ask you the horrible question now. What's the cheat meal?
Cheat meal?
What's your cheat meal? What's your go-to, I'm overdoing it on my plate tonight?
Tonight, I had a couple of nice burgers tonight, but it was on healthy bread. But yeah, I had one too many. I did. I like a pizza, Jay. I do like a bit of pizza. Listen, the thing is, I do treat myself. I do, but I eat well 80% of the time, 80 to 90% of the time. I eat well and I work hard, so I can get away with it. You know what I mean?
So you don't tell people now, obviously lockdown's coming to an end and hopefully we're all allowed to go be a bit more sociable with friends and family. As of Monday, we can all hug each other supposedly again, just try not to lick each other, keep it to a minimum. So what you're saying is, if you're on a diet and you're working out with you and stuff like that, don't be afraid that when you go down to Witherspoons, that you have to stay on the strict diet. You can have the odd cheat meal and go out and enjoy yourself. Don't feel like, or Ben's told me I need to stick to this, enjoy your life along with your training, don't make it a religious thing, make it just a passion,
Yeah, absolutely, Jay. You're dead a long time, you're not here for a long time. You've got to enjoy these things, but everything in moderation. You want to extend that for as long as you can, that life, of course. So 80% eat clean, treat yourself now and again, drink your water, eat your veggies, do your press-ups.
So we've sat here, we've had a cup of tea and a cup of coffee. It's not a cardinal sin, but I now drink a lot of water at work, thanks to you, because you drummed it into me. So I felt a lot better. My wife, she goes through 6 buses full of water every day. She loves this stuff, and she goes running and stuff. So, I'm not so religious with the water, but since I've been doing it, I've been going to bed. I've been having better night's sleep. obviously I have a cup of coffee in the morning. That's still my religious. That's my pick me up. But through the day,
Mine
I'm
too.
drinking. Yeah, I still have. I'm drinking my soft drinks now through the day, and I'm not feeling as tired. And when and when I do want to go to bed, I'm not feeling like the buzz. I mean, I'll probably have maybe 3 to 4 hot drinks throughout the day, and that's like you say, from 7 a.m. in the morning all the way up to like 8 o'clock at night. I'm having 4 in that period, but the rest of it is soft drinks now, and I'm feeling a lot better for it, a lot fresher. Obviously the dermatology side will say that it's good for your skin to drink more water and stuff like that, so it will naturally make you feel healthier. But you were saying to me last time, drinking water is the same as probably like drinking Red Bull. It will rejuvenize your body and make you feel more fresh. So caffeine's good for a good 30-minute buzz, but water will keep you going for the rest of the day.
Exactly. If you keep yourself topped up. Another little top tip while we're on AJ.
Go for it.
Do you know when you're peckish and you don't really think you should be because you maybe just ate something?
Yes.
And you think, what's going on here? That could be dehydration. So
Okay.
a lot of the times when you are hungry, if you go and fill up on some water, that'll go away because your body has no way of telling you that you're thirsty.
Did I watch one of your classes just to prove I did? Did you say something that it's about a 45-minute window, the hunger window?
That's
I swear.
45. Yeah.
When you said that, obviously, when you feel hungry, that will subside over a period of time. So drink water. So when you're thinking, oh, I want to go and get a bag of crisps or have a roll or something.
Your hormone. That is your hunger hormone.
That's it, yeah.
The ghrelin hormone.
That's the one.
And that resides in the lining of your stomach there, in the bowel. And that comes up through your bloodstream. It comes up every now and again and tells you you're hungry, lets you know you're hungry.
Yeah.
That will only stay there for 45 minutes. So again, you'll have been there when you've been hungry. Then after a while, you're like, oh, that's gone. That's because it's just gone back down away. The other hormone is leptin, and that will tell you you're full. And they can get out of control. You need certain things you can do to get them back in order.
I was watching. This is where you were talking about fasting, and it's fastings. I think you were saying along that it's easier for men than it is for women because of the hormone balance that obviously women have. So you were like, not necessarily easier, but it's.
I wouldn't recommend it to women of a younger age because of the cycle that they go through once a month. It can throw that out of whack. Things like that, women have got to carry children and things like that. So I wouldn't recommend it to them. I would only recommend it to men. Maybe to get the hormones in check, things like that. There is, I do have some clients that I do use intermittent fasting with, and it's worked wonders for them. It's sustainable, So for certain people, if anyone ever wants to ask me about this, if it's right for them or not, feel free to drop me a message because everybody's unique, everybody's different, everyone has their own kind of needs and what they can have, what's healthy for them as well. So it's just an idea to throw out there. And some people just like breakfast. I like breakfast.
I was on a routine where I would skip breakfast and then I would go all the way through until probably about 11:30 before I had my first meal, which was probably not good because it didn't trigger off my metabolism because I'd probably waited. So that's probably what wasn't good for my diet. But, what would you say? How does intermittent fasting work? Is it a case of you don't eat anything at all and then you just how does it kind of work?
Basically, it's broken down into 2 windows.
Okay.
A window where you can eat, a window where you can't eat.
Okay.
Right? Usually 16 where you can, 8 where you can. Okay. Now, as a rule, I would tell someone not to go to bed hungry because it can mess with your sleep. You're lying in bed hungry, you're more likely to stay awake. So cut off time usually around 8 p.m. And then you wake up, you can eat again at 12 the next day, which is going to be a long morning at first. People can struggle with that the first week. But then after a while, that becomes easy and they start waking up energized. And that's because of... I forgot. but they're waking up energized.
Yeah.
It's like the hunter-gatherer days of the cavemen, where they used to have to wake up and hunt for the food. They would wake up with energy because of that reason. It's the fight or flight syndrome. Yeah. Like now we get it for doing things like this. We get nervous because of things like this, or going on stage giving a speech. Or back then you would get energy for that. Back then, in the day of cavemen, you would wake up and you would have energy to go and kill something to eat.
Yeah, I had that same sort of situation at the beginning of lockdown, trying to find toilet roll. Trying to take out 70-year-old women in here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so again, it's not recommended without advice. Don't just go and do
No.
it. Maybe research it if that's something that you want to do. And that's purely, like you say, that's only for a short period of time. You don't do it for life. It's for a short period of time to get everything back in sync, so that obviously when you do eat, that when obviously your body will know that this is sleep, this is when you're meant to get in your routine. So it's slowly but surely, it's like
if a lady does want to do it, she should look into it, because there is a 24-hour fast you can do,
okay,
things like that, just to get them hormone balances in check, because
Mhm.
you know, it's never nice having that hunger problem when you don't want it as well.
Yeah.
So there's always research you can do. I'm always open to ask questions if you're listening to ask questions.
So again, on the sins, chocolate bar of choice.
Oof, chocolate bar of choice. I like a digestive with a cup of tea.
Oh, really?
Chocolate digestive.
Just the chocolate digestive.
Hobnob. Yeah.
Oh.
There we go. You got it.
There you go. So for Christmas, I've got to get you some hobnobs.
What's yours then, Dave? What's yours?
Me.
See, he's a Snickers kind of guy.
No, well, do you know what? I was going to say Snickers because I like
I knew
like
you was, Jay.
But obviously over Christmas, it normally turns to a bounty because nobody eats those out of the celebrations box. So I'm normally left with like 9 little small bounty bars. So I do like a coconut bounty. But if I was going to die tomorrow, it would probably just leave me with a double decker. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with a double decker. What time are we on? So by now, we've now coming up to an hour of almost being online. And I'm going to try and do it live just to see what happens. See if I bear with me. Hey Siri.
Well, obviously.
What's the Man U score?
The Manchester United-Liverpool match is scoreless in the 10th minute of the Northwest Derby.
10th minute is scoreless.
Derby.
Well, they call it a derby. Right. Derby. Do you know what? I've had this conversation with my friend, and do you know what? I don't get to see him face to face. So I'm going to pick on you now as a Man U fan. Are you ready for this?
You are a Newcastle fan, though.
I am a Newcastle fan.
Before you start this,
I generally don't have anything to back up my claim because I'm a Newcastle fan. So I don't have any claims to fame other than Shearer, and that was like 90 years ago. You sacrificed your first team against Leicester so you could have a better team to play Liverpool. My argument is if you would have beat Leicester and Newcastle for 1 in a million chance beat Man City on Friday, tomorrow night, you would have still been in the running to possibly win the title this year.
No sense winning the title this year, Jay.
But you would have had the chance and you would have been in the running. Surely as a Manchester United manager, you would have gone, I would have kept fighting until the end, until it was gone. If you would have played and you would have won against Leicester, and tomorrow night Man City beat Newcastle, which is the highly likely, at least you could say you went out fighting. My friend says that it's better to say that we beat Liverpool than it is to say that we beat Leicester, because there's a rivalry, obviously, with Liverpool. I understand that, but I think it was, I mean, do you agree with that? Would you rather beat Liverpool tonight than you would have, carried on fighting?
As a United fan, you always want to beat Liverpool.
You
do. But
hang on. I'm getting hot off the press.
What's this?
United 1, Liverpool 0 at the moment. Is that confirmed, James? Don't tell me that you just put that up there and ruined my show. That better be confirmed.
I'm glad we put a soft team out against Leicester.
Yeah, you are now. Yeah.
Fantastic.
In fairness, though, Liverpool are still on the bus. They can't get in the ground. They've just started with Manchester United. Well, do you know what? The argument, we're going to talk football. The argument is Arsenal's manager, obviously, is the ex-assistant coach to Pep. Yeah. And obviously, at Arsenal, he's had a bit of a run and a bit of a mare. I would argue that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ran into a bit of trouble at the beginning of the season himself. And you've managed to turn it around and finish second of the season, which is a credit to you, because at one point you were looking like you were struggling. So would you say that the flack that he's getting at Arsenal is unjust, considering that he's only half into a season? Or would you give somebody like him next season, or are Arsenal always looking for that immediate win?
I don't think Ollie was ever in a better position as Arteta is now, was it?
Probably not as bad,
No.
but I mean, you went through a stint of not being consistent on
Yeah,
win
and,
after
and
win.
I'll tell you something as well. Ollie got a lot of stick for that. I'm not talking about me because it's not me. It's
Yeah,
Ollie,
yeah.
Ollie's the boss.
Yeah.
He got a lot of stick from that, and I'll hold my hands up for a little phase there. Even myself, I was thinking,
Not the guy.
what experience has this guy got? You know, what's he going to do? He's a legend of a player, but he's not getting any credit now. He's getting absolutely none that I've seen. Not even a stand-in for manager of the season after turning that around like that to solid second in the Europa League final. You know, he had a couple of bad losses, but come on, look at the youngsters in that team. Look at the youngsters in the team, and the players he's brought in have been absolutely amazing. He's done a top job, Ollie, and fair play to him. I'm not going to diss Arteta.
No.
Give him another season.
I would.
He's a young manager. What are you going to get better right now?
Well, apparently going with the proven and trusted method.
Steve Bruce might be available.
Yeah. Going with the proven and trusted method hasn't worked for every single team. Not to rub salt in the wounds, but West Brom went with Big Sam because Big Sam always gets you out of the relegation battle. Didn't work this year. So these so-called younger managers like Arteta and Ollie and stuff like that, considering their age in their career, are still learning, but they're around people that aren't that much younger than them. So it's still a lot of trying to find your wings, as they say. On the Newcastle side of things, we're never going to get the top manager.
Lampard?
Chelsea. I think he's going to Chelsea. Well, Lampard. They were talking about Crystal Palace.
But do you think he should have been sacked?
How can you sack somebody who's an icon to a club? It's the same as Ollie. If Ollie would have gone this season and you would have finished 7th, they would have still carried on and stuck with him because of the credibility he brings to Manchester United. The same with Frank. It's a case of with Chelsea, he's a living legend at Chelsea and he was going to get the time that he needed at Chelsea. If Newcastle had a choice on managers who we could have, I was trying to get my head in the ring to get Eddie from Bournemouth. Wasn't it? Eddie Howe, is that right?
Yeah, good manager, yeah.
Brilliant manager, and younger and probably a little bit more in tune with the game. I see teams around, like one of my ex-work colleagues from last year was a West Ham fan, and I always used to walk in thinking it was hilarious to tell him how bad West Ham were. And now this season, I'm eating humble pie. How can you go from almost at the end of the season last year, struggling, to now becoming, one of the top 6 football teams in the Premier League?
Really well,
and they've done really well, and they've not really done that much to do it. And under Pardew, of all people. So, I don't know. So are your hopes in that, that United now are on that stepping stone to becoming dominant again? You're hoping that next season, if not the one after, that you'll be back into getting the triples and
a couple of signings, the right signings, and they could be there.
Yeah.
They've got a good team, a good young team.
Mm-hmm.
Pogba and Fernandes look like they're playing well together.
Yeah.
Got a goalkeeping issue to sort.
If you're not using Henderson, you're off your rocker.
Yeah.
David De Gea just needs to get in a taxi and say thanks very much for your time. It's not worth having. That's my opinion.
No, I'm with you. I think give Henderson the time.
Henderson is an incredible keeper.
They should have been blooded in him all the season. They shouldn't have been sticking De Gea in now and again. They should have just blooded him right in.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Everybody who knows me knows that I have a personal vendetta against Harry Maguire. I don't like the guy. I think he's very overrated. I think you pay for a defender that spends more time in the box than Bruno Fernandes does. I think that he wants to be up that end of the pitch, and I think that's where you've suffered. Everybody says that he's the best, defensive player in the league, but he may be on paper, but personally, I just hate the guy. I just don't like watching you guys play and feel like you've been left with 3 at the back because he wants to go and score a goal. That's my opinion. But no doubt they'll build an England team around him. Although, as they always do, they love him. On football, though, I think that the England team should consist of non-Premier League players.
I'll agree with you.
I think that there are people in League 2, 1 and Championship, and they should... Well, I think when they get paid for England, there's an unwritten rule that it's donated to charity. The players don't take it. As far as I'm aware, there's an unwritten rule for that. And if they did take it, I'm sure they'd give it to their own personal charities or buy themselves a new Lambo or something stupid. But I think there are better players that would play better for England that are not in the Premier League because these guys would want to use
You've got
the
likes
global.
of Sancho and Bellingham, though, aren't you? Who aren't in the Premier League.
Mm.
You know, really good players turn up. I think there's a lot of youngsters as well, like Foden at City. You can't deny him. You know, young lad. He's quality.
He's showing up this year.
I like Grealish. He's got. I know he's Aston Villa. He's not in the big six or anything.
No.
Quality player. Southgate doesn't really give him a shout, does he? Shot.
Right. I'm going to have to ask you this: if you follow football at all, should Callum Wilson be in the England team? Say yes or no. I think that at Newcastle,
I think he's a good striker.
I think that Gareth Southgate has his best friends, and I think he builds the team. You know that if this was all playgrounds,
who's ahead of him? Who's ahead of him?
A lot of people.
Is it an out and out striker? Yeah.
He's an out and out striker.
So that's Harry Kane's position.
Yes.
So he's not getting that, is he?
No, but Harry Kane is inconsistently injured just as much.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, who's second up to Harry Kane then for that position?
Probably Grealish by now.
You think he's striker?
He's got the skill to be a striker if he wanted to be Grealish. If they put him in the number 9, they'd probably put the team around him.
Yeah.
But in the England team, you know that he's going to pick the same at least 6 people every time. He's going to go, I've got Walker, I've got Kane, I've got Maguire. You know those 3 are always going to be in there. Declan Rice is always going to be in there. I think Trippier might be coming back.
What about Wan-Bissaka
then? He builds the team around. Yeah. If you don't have Shaw in that team, I would hunt down live now on social media and find Gareth Southgate and have serious words, because that guy has turned up this season. Yeah. He's incredible.
As soon as he bought that Tellez, he's been there, hasn't
he? Yeah. So, I mean, incredible. But we're going into football talk now. We could be here all night talking footy. So remember, you can catch up with Ben, who doesn't talk about football all the time, just as much as I do. You can catch Ben Hale, PT, on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook. He'll probably be starting to share his links to his YouTube page once I figure out how to show him how to do it all. We're all going to be more socially active. If you're watching Chaturday Live and you're a fan of Ben's and you've just come along to see Ben, please do show Chaturday Live some support as well. We're here in support of mental health awareness. We offer entertainment like this to you guys through the tube to your phones and entertainment.
Get over and just click follow. Lovely guy. Give him a follow.
Cheers, Ben. There you go. See, just like praise for Ben. Oh, that's made me feel better already. Remember that we're always here. Mental health awareness. It's Mental Health Awareness Week. So remember to check in on your friends and family, even the ones that say they're always okay. Make sure you send them a message. Say, are you okay? Fancy a chat. If they're local, say, would you like to go out for a coffee or something? You know, make appointments now to see your friends and family. You know, remember to stay in touch. You know, we're all there for each other in these hard times. So just remember that sometimes the people that are smiling all the time are the ones that need a little bit of a help. So from me, Jay Robinson, the host of Chaturday Live, and the one and only Mr. Ben Hale, thank you very much for tuning in and staying with us and talking a lot of waffle. But remember, if you do want to get into fitness, if you have any questions, go over to Ben's page, send him a private message on Facebook or Instagram. He replies instantly when he can. If he's in the middle of a live workout, don't expect him to. And he'll give you any information. Even if you're not one of his clients, he is literally happy to bend over backwards and answer any questions that he can. So a great guy to know and have on your social media as a backup, at least worst case scenario. So thanks very much. We're going to get back to seeing how United are getting on. Fingers crossed they're doing well. Fingers crossed they're doing well. And we'll see you all again next week. Ta-da for now.
Bye.
Bye.